Hi, this is Kirk, the bariatric carnivore. Well, part of the growing concern about your health is really also your financial health. I mean, part of what is going wrong with the medical system and why they're not advocating for your health is, frankly, the incentives are not working for you. And it is really horrible, but until you understand it, you probably are not going to be able to realize why nothing seems to be working hard for your health. Back in the 90s, when the obesity epidemic and the growth of type 2 diabetes was starting to get the attention of our health insurance industry, they realized that, wait a second, people are getting very unhealthy, very sick, and it's getting very expensive, and it's affecting our bottom lines. And I remember very distinctly that in the 90s and early 2000s, they were really pushing hard to try to get their people that they were insuring to get healthier. They were trying to do more stuff for diet, exercise. They were trying to incentivize the heck out of people to not have to have chronic diseases, but instead get out of it so they didn't have to pay out so much in terms of premiums. And all was well and good. That wasn't bad. It was a good step in the right direction to help lower costs by keeping the number of expensive sick people minimal. And along comes Obamacare. And in the presumed wisdom of Congress, what they did was, when they created that system, they capped the way they insurance companies, major insurance companies that were under Obamacare, suddenly had to make sure that they were paying out 80% of what they brought in terms of premiums. They had to pay those out in benefits. They got to keep 20% for overhead cost. And you might think, well, that makes sense. That seems fair. Well, the problem is, if you are a multi-billion-dollar corporation and you want to grow from 1 billion to 2 billion, then it means you've got one of two ways of doing it. One of them is to pay out more benefits, in which case you've got skyrocketing healthcare cost, and the more they're paying out, they get to charge more for premiums. And that is one way to grow a major healthcare company. Then the other way would be to try to attract new people. And they were both working together very well right after Obamacare passed, but all of a sudden, because of the Supreme Court and the Trump administration, the penalties. It used to be that, if you did not have health insurance, the only person that hurt was you. Well, Obamacare passes, and all of a sudden there's penalties on your income tax form if you didn't have a qualified Obamacare program. And 16% of the country did not have that type of insurance. Suddenly it drops down to 8%. So there's major growth for the insurance companies. All of a sudden those incentives went away and people are going back to the way they were before. So now we've got 16% or so of the population not covered under Obamacare type programs. Insurance companies figured out if they want to increase their bottom line, they need to pay out more in terms of benefits. And as a result, they started buying up more health groups. The number one employer, believe it or not, of physicians in this country is United Health. And you may think that your doctor is working hard for you as an advocate, but basically they're advocating, they're trying, if you think they're advocating for you, they're talking to their bosses. The people that are supposed to be paying for those particular procedures, etc., are the insurance companies themselves. They're negotiating against themselves. There's really, people are going to pay the piper. The person that's writing their paycheck, and their paycheck is being written by big insurance. So frankly, they're not looking after you. They're looking after their boss's bottom line, because frankly, they want to stay employed. And if they become a problem, they ain't going to be employed anymore. That's the sad and sick reality of this thing. And as a result, it's driving up healthcare costs. It's making things more unmanageable for regular people. So how do you fight back? Well, thankfully, there are some ways of doing it. But frankly, it really boils down to this. The number one way of freeing yourself from all this nonsense is to get healthy, which means 90% of all chronic diseases are going to be taken care of if you take care of yourself. That means changing your diet, adding in some exercise activity, and getting good sleep. Those are the 3 pillars of health. And once you do that, you're going to find out that, really, frankly, you don't need the docs anymore. I mean, that's what I found. I mean, when I lost the weight, got metabolically healthy, I no longer needed 10 prescription drugs. I didn't have to do that anymore, which meant I didn't have to see my doc, which meant I quit paying for that insurance. Now, my insurance is a catastrophic policy that is it's called a defined benefit program that kicks in after $5,000 worth of medical expenses, and I haven't used it ever because, frankly, it's relatively inexpensive, but I don't have that many medical expenses. I pay for my own lab work, and hopefully I never do have to pay for anything major, but I've got coverage in case I do. But there's other programs that are designed to help out with this stuff too, and I want to share, and I'll put the links to these different groups in the show notes, because I think what they are doing can make a difference for healthy people that are getting out of the medical system. If you do not want to have the traditional medical system anymore because you're no longer dependent on the doctors, then frankly, you need to have alternatives. And I want to introduce you to 3 of them that I think are just absolutely fantastic. And the reason why I say it's going to help and affect your bottom line, your financial health too, is because frankly the number one way to go bankrupt in the United States of America is to have really darn good medical insurance but have a major medical bill. That is the number one cause of bankruptcy in the United States by far, and a good hunk of it is not your fault. You think you're paying for great insurance, but there's now 2 major class action lawsuits against major insurers in this country, and what we're finding out is kind of what many people suspected. They're just arbitrarily denying payments because they know 90% or more of you don't know how to fight them, are terrified of it, and you'll just pay the darn bill or go bankrupt. They win, you lose, because they've got a mountain of lawyers. They've created all this small print, and they're going to claim that you're not covered for certain stuff, even though you think you are. And they will play games like, well, you didn't have a prior authorization for it. Well, it was an emergency. How in the heck, that's the standard of care. And you think that your doctor, the bane of every doctor in private practice's existence is staying on hold with the insurance company trying to get a prior authorization to get a procedure done that they know that they need for their patient. Yet they're having problems with that stuff. And if you're an orthopedist saying that this guy needs a knee replacement, you may be talking to an ophthalmologist who knows nothing about knees or why they need to be replaced. That's kind of the grotesque system that the docs have to deal with on a regular basis, unless they work for a major insurance company, and then they're neutered. So nobody's looking after you and your health in this whole system. So how do you get around it? Well, number one, please do the lifestyle. Get healthy. Get the heck out of it. Second step is look for some of these different resources that are out there. I'm going to include a link to a great crowdfunding website that you may or may not be qualified for. But there's about 65,000 people that crowdfund healthcare. And because of that, and because they only choose people that are pretty darn healthy to join that particular group, they keep the cost really low. And they have their own attorneys, and they have their own advocates, and they know how the billing system works. So take a look at that. Crowdfund group. I'll include a link to an interview with Dr. Sean Baker, with the CEO of the company. Hear some of that story. It may be an alternative resource for you that may really help you out. The other one is a company that helps you utilize, if you've got a medical IRA and you want to utilize it for things that will help bring you health. For instance, if you want to do red light therapy, sauna, cold plunge tub, a cow, if you believe in massage therapy and stuff like that, you can utilize your medical IRA for these type of non-typical medical things if you have a prescription. Well, this company works with you and does telemedicine to help get you the scripts you need in order to utilize your medical IRA for real medical stuff that you want to do that's not traditional. So it'll basically allow you to utilize non-taxable funds to purchase a cow, because that's a health choice. Frankly, to me, my cow is medicine, and why not utilize the non-taxable funds for it? Okay, that is a great thing. And Callie Means, I think, is really one of the best unsung heroes out there as far as helping you provide and get you real world type of help to help you navigate the system. And then I'm going to include an interview that Dr. Avadia did on the Stay Off My Operating podcast with a doctor who is a specialist when it comes to medical billing. Her company helps people that have been denied by their insurance company. They are stuck with these monstrous bills and they don't know how to work it. And you will never understand how bad the racket is until you really sit down and invest an hour in listening to her explain the horrible racket that is big hospital chains and how they're ripping people off like crazy, driving them into bankruptcy, destroying people's lives with total callous disregard. Frankly, they don't care about you. They don't care about their health. All they care about is their bottom line. Realize that. They are not your friends. And once you start to figure this out, you start to figure out how to navigate the system, how to preserve your financial health while making yourself healthier. Because frankly, in this fight for your health, you are all alone. There is no one. I don't care, not the government, not your insurance company, frankly, not your doctor, and certainly not the big hospitals. None of these systems that are supposed to be looking after you are really looking after you. And they are certainly not looking after your health. And unfortunately, because of the perverse systems that our government has created right now, they have a real incentive to make healthcare as expensive as possible, to have as many people dependent on it as possible. And it's destroying our health, and it's just taking out. That's why it's the biggest section of the economy right now. And it's all built on paper and human misery. That is the bottom line. So if you want to get healthy and get the heck out, you can't depend on those guys. You got to figure this stuff out for yourself, because you're all alone in this. But yeah, the nice thing about it is we're all alone in this together, and there are tribes of people out there that are doing excellent work and really trying to help people not just get healthy, but also navigate the system, because you don't have to fight it alone. There are things out there and resources for you. So I'm glad to share these resources with you. I've enjoyed listening to these people over the years, and I love sharing these type of resources with other folks. If you like this channel, if you like this message, please hit the like and subscribe. Join with us and other like-minded folks to really reclaim our health and get the heck out of the system while there's still time. It is a deeply psychopathic system that behaves with a complete callous disregard for you and your family's health. So get out while you can. I try to put out a couple messages each week. I will talk to you again soon.